we start having ideas about how this life is supposed to be. If you're not successful, it's not a life. If you don't have many cars, it's not a life. If you don't have many friends, it's not a life. Well, no, this is all human ideas. You came to the earth right from the beginning. You have been complete. Looking into the past, everything that has been a challenge, well, the challenges are not getting easier. The more skillful you become, the more light you want to become, the more you're striving for liberation, the more you are being tested in order to let go. Easy things, simple things, basic things, no problem to let this go. Ultimately, the hardest that maybe a human being can think of, in a way, is to let go of whatever you have created.
The great part is the way how you are able to use either the imagination or just like the abilities of the mind. Because you can turn it both ways. Either you see it as, why did it come so suddenly? Or you see the opposite. It's going to leave.
How to build a proper, purposeful, fulfilling lifetime. I think it is very much related upon skill. How skillful are you walking through this lifetime? And the more skillful you are, the more beautiful, the more easy, the more playful, the more enjoyable you can walk through it. This is like the whole analogy, how I can maybe express it.
Make yourself strong. Prepare yourself in this lifetime for the end. Prepare for the end in the now. That's what it is. We are preparing for the end in the now. The end of what? The end of that anyway you're going to lose your identity if you want or not. You don't need to worry about losing your ego, getting rid of the illusion of your I during this lifetime. If you manage to do, it's good for you. If you don't manage to do, it's going to happen anyway. But it's going to happen without your acknowledgement. Very rapidly, from one day to another, it's going to happen. And this is again the truth of the human being. What is the most difficult things for us humans to face if the status quo is changing too quickly? If we humans can prepare, everything's easy to take. If you have time to prepare for something, it's always more easy. If something comes too abrupt, too quick, it's difficult to take it. And this is why it makes sense. Prepare for the end. And I'm sorry that all of this sounds so depressive, maybe. It's not. It only sounds depressive. But the great part is something ends, something new begins.
Time is necessary in how much you're spending with something, but at the same time, it's also your ability to observe. I also witnessed quite a lot like feeling inside the people. The mind sometimes I feel is not there. They are physically at a very beautiful place. Physically they are there, but the mind seems absent. Because apparently the mind and the body is nothing which naturally is regarded as being together. Why? Because you continuously look and search for something which is not here right now. So what does it mean? It means body is here, but your mind is looking for something. And if you don't pay attention to this, it can just manifest and express itself in exactly such things. You find yourself actually in a place which is super beautiful, which is offering everything that you need, but you are not going to recognize it. Because your mind is a step already again ahead of it. And if this type of pattern, if this type of habit and conditioning you don't realize about yourself, I really think you're missing some essential part about living this lifetime, which is about the enjoyment of what you have.
Fear and also uncertainty. These two things are the biggest challenges every human being is going to face. The question is, are you living your life based on fear or not? And this fear is not helpful because it restricts you. It restricts your ability to expand the mind. Fear is restricting you to discover. makes you stay inside the comfort zone. But why do we call something the comfort zone? It's because we have spent time already inside that zone that we know. You know everything about it inside there already. You have seen it, you have experienced all of it. That's why everything has become comfortable to you. So as long as you're comfortable, it means you are not leaving the things that you know. This existence is too big. It's 0.1% of knowing, it's 99% of not knowing. If you want to discover what is the 99.9%, it means you need to leave the space of knowing, the space of comfort. You need to go into the uncertainty. And this is that fearful part. The more fearful you are, the more you're going to stay where you are. The less fearful you are, the more you're going to expand, the more you're going to discover. Now the question is, how can I now learn to face your fear? To face it. Facing pain is also something that goes along the way of practicing the Shaolin martial arts. You don't have to jump right away into the darkness. Not many people can do this. But realizing, okay, this is right now my comfort zone, and tomorrow I'm already trying one thing that is new to me. It still feels uncomfortable to me, but okay, let's try. Just one step out. Next day, another step out. Meaning, integrate the jump into the uncertainty into your lifetime until it becomes a habit. This is the one way. How to develop that ability to go against the fear. This is one thing. The second part is, I think this is now very useful for everyone. If you have the wrong image about yourself on this earth, if you are viewing yourself from a wrong perspective, it means you will never get into the understanding what type of potential you are actually possessing. The point is, you're becoming more and more refined about there is much more about us. Because in the moment where you realize that bag of skin has more on the inside, it also increases right now your ability. If you say health is important to me, well, then it's not enough to just like use cream on your skin. That is taking care outside. If you know there is more inside, then it means whatever you eat, whatever you do, whatever you're drinking, how does it affect what is inside of you? So all these practices, what does it do? It makes you become more refined about yourself. When you look at yourself, when you sense into yourself, you feel more what you are. Take care of the body, refine the body, and at the same time, you refine the mind. And why is the mind so important? It matters. If you wake up in the morning, what are you thinking when you wake up in the morning? And if you already wake up with conflict in the mind, with unsatisfaction inside the mind, wake up with a feeling of lack. I wake up, I have to do something quickly because I don't have it right now. Whatever it is. So running after something. Why do you chase anything? Because you're in a state of lack. Something's missing. If you would have it, why would you chase it? And now the question is, where does this lack come from? And now come back to the child. The child, the incarnated soul, the incarnated spirit, when it comes to the earth, whoever made it possible for that child to come, you can call it God, you can call it the nature, you can call it the universe, no matter what. This force, this power does not make mistakes. God is not putting you in this earth incomplete. Why would he do that? What he's putting on the earth is existence. He's granting us existence. And afterwards, it starts that we have concepts. We start thinking. We start having ideas about how this life is supposed to be. If you're not successful, it's not a life. If you don't have many cars, it's not a life. If you don't have many friends, it's not a life. Well, no, this is all human ideas. You came to the earth right from the beginning. You have been complete. This is the alternative. At the moment, I would say, is just guiding to rethink. So what is the next way of what can people do? Rethink your life. Look at how is your life looking at the moment? How did you spend the last 5 years, 10 years? Do you maybe see some patterns in your life? Whenever you get what you want, you will realize that's not it. Running after desires is not going to fulfill your desire. What you need is realization. What you need is wake up. This is where all these terms are coming from. Also, to take that misunderstanding away. I grant you the Porsche. I grant you a big house. Yeah, it's all nice. And I mean, if you can afford it, I mean, why not? Ask yourself, your satisfaction about life, is it based on a condition or not? Because this is what I would see right now. Everything that at the moment you want to have, always when you say, I need this in order to feel complete, I want this in order to feel complete, then it means your life, your satisfaction about life is based on conditions. As long as I have many followers, I'm happy. As long as I have a family, I'm happy. As long as I have the car and the big house, I'm happy. The fact is, you do not have a guarantee. You do not have a security that at any point in time, you're gonna lose these things. First of all, latest, when the body falls apart, you're gonna lose them anyway. But even before that, the more it was based on the condition of life needs to look like this, the more we will suffer. Many developed depression and many started waking up, realizing I cannot base my life on circumstances where I don't have influence on. And this is exactly what this life is about. Don't base your life satisfaction on circumstances where you have no influence on. If you have, well, then change them in the way that serve you. But there are many things we don't have. To already right now, realizing I cannot, as a small citizen, I have no influence on whatever the politicians are going to throw out there. No way. Then you are realizing your life is in your hands. Your responsibility is make sure that inside you're always full, or that you're feeling full. No matter what happens on the outside, nobody can take something away from you. Because the gift that has been given to you is the existence, is this lifetime in the first place. We already have been given the greatest gift of everything, existence. Now, don't let anybody interfere trying to take that away from you. So that means don't outsource the power of having your life in your own hands. Don't outsource this to external circumstances. Don't outsource it to how big the apartment is, how many cars you have. If you can afford it, do it. Just don't make that emotional and mental attachment. This is the part. It's not about how many cars you have. You can have a whole garage full with all the luxury cars. That's not a problem. The problem is, how much are you identified with your possessions? The identification is the problem. To have a garage full and just use them and enjoy them, and when you drive and the weather is nice, then it's really nice. But then you put it back into the garage, you go eat your meal, and while you're eating, the car is gone. You're not thinking about the car anymore. It's gone, it's standing in the garage, finished. Now you just enjoy the meal. Attachment is the problem. It is a process. It is of rewiring. How have you lived your life until right now? How much did it serve you, the way of thinking until now? And how much also did it limit you? These are all things every individual has to ask for themselves. I'm not giving you anything right now. I'm just saying something, which is, let's say, my view. And you have to ask yourself, what is it from what you have heard until right now that in a way resonates with you? You observe this pattern in your own life. And ultimately, the only person who can do something about it, it's not me. You make the decision. Your life is in your hands. The only thing that I'm doing is, if at all, I'm taking something away. I'm taking away misconceptions and illusions that people might have in this lifetime if they didn't have the possibility to hear other perspectives. I think it's very, very obvious when you are suffering. You cannot sleep, you cannot focus, you don't have a smile on your face doesn't look healthy, your energy that you are expressing feels constricted. There is no openness, there is no lightness, there is some heaviness. There are many different signs how this suffering starts to express itself. It's a personal perspective everyone has to take, but it also goes hand in hand with your ability of, can you see yourself? And there's only one way in order to see yourself. Let go of yourself and then you can see yourself. Without judgment, just see yourself. Look yourself in the mirror. This is a nice practice. Next time you're drunk or anything like this, stand in front of the mirror, look at you for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. You can also do it without alcohol, and then look deep inside. Not only inside, also look at your skin, look at the scars in the face, look at the scars on the body. There is something about the expression, everything about you. There's a story behind it. Nothing on your body is there by coincidence. Looking at yourself and reading the history about yourself is something many people cannot do. And in Buddhist teaching, there's a nice saying. There are 3 things that can never be hidden: the sun, the moon, the truth. Whatever you have done in this lifetime, consciously or unconsciously, it's better to know of what has been done. Then you know who you are, and you know what to adjust in order for you to move on into the future. If there are still too many things of the past inside of you that you don't even know about, what have you done? Things that are unresolved, is difficult to move on. The only way to move on is to unknot all the connections that you have established in the past. Unknotting all the karmic relations that you have established, consciously or unconsciously. It's not an easy thing to do.
What do you mean by let go?
This is letting go of something material, of something physical, but very often it is thoughts that also make us suffer. It is something that you have here inside.
So does it mean I should always enjoy just what I have at the moment without ambition? No. Again, balance. Work for things you like to have. Do the work in order to get it. But observe yourself at the same time when it comes, when it enters your life. Do you still have the ability to really forget everything else and just enjoy what you have? There's something about balance there. It's really helpful, and especially it doesn't cost anything. This is the best part about all of these sharings and teachings, that it only depends on your perspective. Everybody already has his or her own perspective. But the more perspective you have, the more possibilities, the more choices you have. At the end of the day, you are the one, it's your life. You decide and you take the consequences. If sometimes in this lifetime you feel I'm stuck somehow, why? Why are you stuck? Because you continuously try to move forward with the old patterns that also haven't worked the last 10 times. It's time for a new perspective. I like to ride motorcycle, I like to ride scooter. And so there was one time when I was riding a mountain road, a 4-hour drive. And on top of that mountain, there was a coffee. And I also like to drink coffee from time to time. After riding the bike there, looking forward to have like the first coffee at half of the journey. And then I was standing there at this terrace in the middle of the jungle, standing there with a coffee cup, looking down at the valley, which is the jungle, and seeing the monkeys jumping around there, that for me was such a moment I remember where something shifted a little bit, where I would really say that was the time I felt again how I arrived. There was nothing to want in that moment. It was the realization in a way. Yeah, and then this internal smile comes out. It's like the heart starts to laugh. From inside, it's like, it feels really joyful. These are like moments that sometimes pop up over and over again. And what all of them I think have in common is there is something about arriving in the moment. The past, you don't know the past is there. The future, there are no thoughts about the future. You just arrive. You just arrive and realize, what if that's it? There's no wanting anymore. It's full already. The fullness has entered your perception. You have realized it's full right now already. And so this is a very, very special feeling that I don't know if I would call it happiness, but it is a very, very fulfilling moment. So these moments of fullness, of being fulfilled, sometimes these moments you have in a partnership when it's really, really fulfilling. The only problem is you have that moment, but it's based on a condition. It's outsourced to your partner. So with the partner, you have it. Without the partner, it's gone. So that again, it means something outsourced. So therefore, it's nice to be able to have this type of relationship, but it would be even better if you find the answer to that state of being by yourself completely. And then whoever accompanies you, it doesn't matter. Stop making too concrete plans and ideas how your life is supposed to look like. Let's just imagine we plan everything into detail. You plan it so well that actually you know already where you are going to be in 10 years. What's the point of waiting 10 years long, knowing already what's going to be the outcome? Like, you know right now already what's going to await you in 10 years. It's pointless. There is something completely missing that we humans are able to tap into. And this means sometimes that spontaneous things is what is adding the salt, that is adding the spices into it. If everything would be planned, let's put it like this, it's boring. I think it is the balance, a personal balance, or people need to find for themselves about, I am determined, I commit to something, I give my life a direction. Let's put it like this. You give a direction, but what appears along the way, walking towards the direction, this is you're open to. It's a kind of combination. It's not that you like freely float around in all directions, no. You are committed, you have a goal, that one is fine. But along this way, there is still something about spontaneity, there's still something about being able to adapt, being flexible, and also to sometimes immerse yourself into something that inside of your plan just wasn't there at the point of planning. Is that structure and the pattern of you are never enough of where you are. There is always something more. There was a time we had no mobile phones. It came out, of course there was time we wanted to have it. We did everything, we went to work, we earned the money, you got it. You got it, it didn't last. You looked for the next thing for achieving. You look for the next trophy to get again. You got the trophy, not enough. It's going to collect dust, you need the next one. So there I see there is a pattern. The pattern of how to spend your lifetime running after achievements and running after trophies that at the end of the day going to collect dust. You're going to not take them with you wherever you're going to go when you pass away. It's maybe part of how you can spend your lifetime. It's not fulfilling. And this is the moment where then maybe some people talk about spirituality, a higher sense, a purpose. This is where then it came to me, where I started asking myself questions. What is it essentially I would like to do with this lifetime that has been given to me? It's not about knowing. It's not about knowing there are patterns. It's not about knowing this is good, this is bad. It's about, you know it, what you're going to do with it. What is your human expression with the knowledge that you have just attained in this lifetime? Everybody knows smoking too much is not good. What you going to do with it? And this is where this practice comes in. Because it's hard, we need to practice. Because you cannot just like jump in the ocean and then start swimming. If you've never done it before, you're just going to drown. So what you're going to do? Step by step, train, practice, grow in confidence, grow in skill. And what's the advantage of it? A big threat is being taken off from your life. A big threat of just like going in the ocean and drowning. Instead of drowning even, you will start to realize how nice it probably even is to simply be in the wide, wide ocean, free. There's something special about it, but only if you have the skill. Without skill, it's like deadly. It's not the ocean that is the danger. The danger is that you are putting yourself in situations, into life, without proper skills. How much real energy, real effort, real discipline have you put into your daily life in order to get to those 100 push-ups? And this is the whole idea about what is it? Skill. You don't get skill as a present in this lifetime. You might get a talent, you might have a gift coming to this world, maybe from your parents, maybe from another source. You are gifted with something. But if you don't cultivate that gift on a regular basis, even that gift will just dissolve. And therefore, skill means there is some continuity to it, and there is the conscious investment of going through hardship. Because why can't you do the 100? Because you have never forced yourself pushing through your limits. When your muscles started hurting, you already stopped. Yeah, that's why you go to the point where it's burning, you get used to the burning, and next day you continue. So there's something about hitting the limit and step by step overcoming it. So, and this is where like this relation for me from the physical martial art practice, taking it back to the seniors are very highly regarded, the parents, the grandparents. Why is that? Of course, they come from another generation, yeah, but doesn't mean that their thoughts are outdated. So it's good. Father, mother, what do you think about this and that? It's not that you have to do it like this, but it helps me also to understand the world from other people's perspective. Then it just widens my horizon. That's what it does. And at the end, I see the situation from this angle, from that angle, from that one, from that one, from that one, from that one. So that means I see many perspectives. This is why I probably see many more solutions. And then at the end, I choose the one which I think is appropriate for what I can do and also which consequences, and they will come. Every decision will have a consequence. The question is, can you live with it or not? Is it good or is it bad to do this and that? I don't think about good or bad. Nothing is ultimately good and nothing is ultimately bad. Let's just say, for an example, this idea of yin and yang, small and big, high and low. So those two fingers, if that one right now is considered small and this one is considered big, what I just said before, there is nothing ultimately good, there is nothing ultimately bad. Nothing is ultimately small, nothing is ultimately big, because it depends on relation. In this constellation, that one is the small one, that one is the large one. In this constellation, it just shifted. So it's not right to say that this one is always the big one. It's not true. Only in this constellation it's true. Same now goes for nothing is ultimately good, nothing is ultimately bad. It depends on in which relation to what. Based on this thinking, it's not useful for me to judge the world by this is good, by this is bad. So therefore, how to take decisions? Based on consequence. Whatever you do, it's gonna bring out consequences. And you decide if you are able to live That's it. This is what you base your decision on. Is it good to do this or not? Is it bad to do this or not? I don't know. What's the consequence of this and what's the consequence of that? Which one of these two you prefer to live with in the future? That one you take. It's an individual choice. There are people who have the luck, who for themselves, they just tap into their intuition. They follow their gut feeling or they follow their heart. Sometimes you have people like this, they never take any advice from anybody else around them, but their life is running good. They are happy with the decisions and the outcome. Yeah, the people are different. Maybe this is the type of person, he has some type of clarity already. This is why the intuition helps. Why he can so quickly identify it and follow up upon it. But intuition is also something not everybody has it in the same amount.
Right now, everybody who is sitting here in the room, you are not starving, hopefully. You don't have any physical threatening pain. So there's no reason right now for you to be in this room and suffer. But it's absolutely possible that you're sitting there and inside your mind, you're still thinking about, let's say, the fight that you had yesterday with your partner. The conflicts, the arguments that yesterday you had, and then he said that, and I said that, and then whatever. Well, that means then it's possible that you're suffering, but you're suffering because of thinking. You're suffering because of something immaterial, of something that doesn't even you cannot grasp it. And then I tell you, just let go. Just forget about what happened yesterday. Come back to the presence. The presence is right now here in the room. If you are able to do this, suffering gone. But it's not easy to do it, which is why it needs to be practiced, to let go of the thoughts. In all these 41 years, I was in contact with many different traditions, philosophies, teachings, and I think many of them have their place. But the only thing until today that remains true for me, which is if I have to tell you something, the last thing about the teaching is not coming from me, but I get into an understanding. Why is there the saying, with our thoughts we create the world? This is the ultimate. That is the ultimate truth. With your thoughts you are creating the world. There is something about the mind, beyond all physical activities, beyond all the attractiveness, whatever it is. The objective in this lifetime is get an understanding. What is this thinking mind, awareness, consciousness? What is it? I think this is the key.
Every time one of these mental states pops up into your mind, positive emotion, negative emotion, ill will, you feel depressed, you feel weak, you feel lack of power, you have this restlessness inside of you, or the skeptical doubt coming up. Most important is you need to realize it. Realize that it is just there. You recognize and you realize that at this moment in time, you are finding yourself in one of these mental states which are representing hindrances. Now the next step, what are you doing after you have recognized that you're in it? We start to analyze. You do everything that is in your possibilities to ask questions about why did it come up? What did it trigger? When did it exactly come up? How actually did this feeling in the first place get into yourself? When was, for example, the first time that you realized that you are having this type of mental state? What analyzing means is you try to look into your past also. Is it something related to the education of your parents? Is it something related to an idea that you caught up from, I don't know from where? Analyzing means that you make an investigation. Investigation means this time you go deeper. Accept it, acknowledge it. The difference is when you acknowledge something and accept something, it is that you're not pushing it away. You're not resisting it. And the reason for that is, as long as something is not accepted or not acknowledged, it can't be changed because it is still outside of you. So if I have like a mental state, anything like this, and I say, yes, it's there, but I want to have it gone, then what you're trying to do in this approach is you're separating. You're trying to separate it, but this is not the way this method is expressing. This method tells you, why is it there? It's because something inside of you already is resonating with it. So it's a matter of you. It's your business. So now what you're doing is, I accept the business. I take it. I understand, okay, it's my business. That is the acknowledgement, the acceptance that you are saying, okay, I'm going to take care of it. If you reject it, if you don't embrace it, it can't be changed. Now comes the investigation. This is where you ask the questions, where you try to find out more. You want to become familiar. You want to take that feeling into your family, make it become part of you and make it become friend of you. Understanding, it is a part of you, but maybe it's just a misunderstanding of the way how you saw it before. Investigation of asking questions, finding out more about it. Where does it come from? Who implemented it into your way of seeing the world? And ultimately, the last step is what we call non-identification. Non-identification is that you sometimes need to stand above you and see from that perspective, how can you support yourself? How can you support that person to get into the next development stage, for example, yeah? This is one type of non-identification, but at the same time also means nothing stays as it is. Nothing stays as it is. Just as sometimes things are so overwhelming entering into your life, it can happen the other way around as well. Look back into your personal life. How many bad moments did you have in the past? How many times did you suffer in the past? How often we were already thinking like this is the end of the world, girlfriend left you, boyfriend left you, different occasions, yeah? But none of them stayed. That is like also the other truths behind it. Of course, in this world we are living, we humans and this society, I think, is more easily being torn towards the positive or towards a very certain side, let's say. But this is because of the developments of our 21st century, where there are certain values being propagated. There is no propaganda in learn how to be poor, learn how to deal with failure, learn how to not be successful, learn how to accept the way how you are, not how to make yourself more beautiful and try to stay beautiful. There is a different agenda going on in the 21st century. And based on that, I do think that the mindset also has shifted, therefore, in trying to fulfill the expectations, what is present in our nowadays world. But it's your personal decision. It's really important for me to really say this again and again. I'm not here to judge whether something is good or whether something is bad. But I'm just saying that if you have placed something upon your mind, that right now you are trying with your lifetime to make it become real. But this is what you're trying to put into this life. It's not even an idea that comes from you. It can go very wrong to one day find out that you have lived a life and invested your lifetime following up on a vision, on an expectation or anything like this, which first of all was never something initially coming from yourself, and afterwards, even if you followed up on it and achieved it, afterwards realize it doesn't give you what you were looking for in this lifetime. How do I get something from what at the moment is only in my mind into something that it becomes real? When is something real? It's real when it's here, when also other people can see it, not just you in the mind. Then it's real. And how do we make this now happen? Of course, you need a small step-by-step plan. And you break your ideas down into walkable steps. But along this plan, along this way of trying to make it become real, you need to find more and more ways. How does something so fine like your thoughts start to shape into a form? So it is about find ways to give it expression. Write it down on paper. One way of giving thoughts an expression. Speaking it out to your friends. More people know about it. Writing it onto your fridge. Something where the thought starts to enter into your visible world. These are small things. that just support you on this mission. The next step would be whatever you would like to achieve there. What skills are necessary? Do you have the skills? A little bit more nicely drawn. It means you want to go on a mission, but at the moment you don't know yet in which direction you have to move. The first thing in order for you to answer this question, which direction to move, is you need to know your location. This now translated into, so what is it I'm supposed to do? Who are you at the moment? What are your abilities at this very moment? What do you have available time-wise, financial-wise? It doesn't matter. In which situation are you right now? We need to see where is our actual location. At least now you have a hint. If you're located here, you know you need to walk here, east. If you are located here, it's not east, because then you're going to make a long way. So that it really depends on where are you located. And this is why it's from person to person. It's different, and I cannot always tell to the same person, so you want to go there? Go east. You want to go there too? You also go east. No, because they are not starting from the same position. Some people have already some education and some experience previously that will immensely help them to already start from a different point. But where have we been? Skills. You are angry. The reasons why this anger came up always different, but the anger is always the same. The anger you feel today is the same anger that you felt when you were in young ages. There might be the feeling that outside circumstances are triggering something inside of you, but what eventually comes up is what you have not been able to adjust in the proper way yet. And the same is like ill will. Ill will is a state of the mind. Doesn't matter if it's towards yourself, towards another person, towards your colleagues, it's always the same ill will. It is something inside of you, which if you don't pay attention to, is going to be a hindrance along your way of walking. Go beyond it, I think, is the more proper expression, because we don't try to get rid of all of these things. You don't want to get rid of your jealousy when it comes up. You don't want to get rid of the joy that you feel. You don't want to get rid of your feelings. You want to have a very great variety of different feelings that you can tap into. The only thing which makes the difference is if you are tapping into this world of feelings consciously, or if that world of feelings is just unconsciously imploding inside of you. This makes the difference. So to overcome it means to realize it is there. What to do? You need to find something, the state of level on which you are coordinating, which means you have to stand above you. Learn to get into a perspective where you are standing above you, which means this is not about you at the moment. This is not about you. Stand above it. You see that person at the moment has an issue. How would you, as somebody watching at you, help him? How would you coach yourself, guide yourself to the better version, to sometimes de-identify yourself with this one? If you are caught inside here, not knowing.
When you feel judged or criticized, or there's an unfairness about you personally,
they don't know better.
How do you not let it ruin your day? How do you go beyond it personally?
I breathe in deeply and I breathe out. And this sounds super ridiculous, but if you really ask me how do I cope with such a situation, this is meanwhile what I do. I am very aware that I have it right now, and I combine my breath, meaning something is getting out of me, together with my deep intention and with my deep connection of the mind together with the breath. First of all, they don't know better. If they would have more information available, they would maybe see me differently. And together with that physical aspect, this is what I do. It's like a valve. Before you start imploding, before something starts to rise too much and the pressure builds up, first of all, get rid of that steam, get rid of that air out. And that's why it sounds very ridiculous sometimes to really say, just breathe out. But it's not about the breath only. It's about how serious are you living different type of teachings and methods. And if you are able to learn to combine the breath with an intention, work with intention more consciously, then I think it's very, very possible to get into an area where breath becomes everything to you.
You talked about the breathing. What is the intention that they can think of during those moments, 60 seconds, 10 minutes, however long it takes, to go beyond it? What is the intentional thought while they're in that, it's stressful, the heart is pounding, I don't like this, I want to break free of this? What can they think or say internally along with the breath to help them go beyond?
This is sometimes what people then refer to as a mantra can be helpful. Especially in such moments, you have something you always tell to yourself, continuously repeat. And now these can be different things. If you merge together the thought, they don't know better, together with the cultivation of a heart quality of compassion inside of you, then I think even this thought together with that heart quality and the breath has a very powerful impact. There are heart qualities, yes. So that means this is why it's helpful to really from time to time make clear to yourself again the greatest love you have ever felt in this lifetime. How did it feel? How does it feel? So if somebody would ask you nowadays, so when was the moment you really felt love? Well, first of all, you can't make it on the go. Second of all, even probably people nowadays are ashamed of even getting into this state of being while other people are watching around. This is why you need to do these practices alone, where nobody is watching you and where are you assured you are only with yourself. And there, what you do, you start to travel. You travel into the world of your memories and you travel into everything that you are still able to recall in your mind that has happened in the past, when somebody hugged you, your father, your mother, your grandfather, your first girlfriend, your first boyfriend, it doesn't matter. Recall the situation where you think this was the greatest feeling I have ever felt when I hear about that word love. Then at least you are recalling it and now know maybe how it feels. And after you have this feeling, now you ask yourself if something like this is existing and you would have the chance that the people in this world can choose in which state of being would you yourself personally would like to live and what would you wish the others to live in. If you're intelligent, you will only come up with one answer, which is for all of them. This is the reason why out of that loving feeling arises then what we call compassion, which means I know how great this feeling is. I know in which direction I would like to guide my life to finally have this feeling more in my life. Then you see people that are obviously sad, that are obviously having issues day in, day out, and busy with their mind, and you see how they are suffering. And because you see it, and now have this direct comparison to yourself, this is why it becomes so much easier now that you are not going to act anymore out of ill will. So the ill will is only there because you are not at that level yet where you can stand above it. If you feel like moments are too overwhelming for you, number one is get out of the situation. If we get into a big argument right now and you feel like, no, this is too overwhelming, I would now really start, get out of the room, number one. So it's something very practical.
Yes.
If something is too overwhelming, then we say, get distance first of all. Get distance. You need to be able to adjust room and time. I cannot determine what is success for everyone. Somebody says, well, success is to be rich. Okay, then after you're rich, you realize, okay, that's not it. Other people say successful is to have many children. Maybe then you have many children and then you still say, okay, that's not it. Yeah? So
Success at some point is also related to the question, how many things, how much experience do you actually already have in this lifetime? Have you been rich already? Did you have a family already? Yeah? Did you do this, do that already? Did you possess this and that already? So that means already by the fact of how much have you done in this lifetime, experiential wise, can already determine what success can be and what it is not. So, okay. But because we are so many people in this world, and not everybody is having like the same experience, and not everybody had the same chances to actually try out all the different types of experiences. At the end, there's only one thing that we all in a way have in common, regardless of what we are doing. And this in a way I would call your sense for the quality of life. And how do you know that something is worth living? Because it feels right. So feels right means, what is it that can feel? Well, probably I would right now easily say it's your heart that feels. But if the heart is closed, you feel nothing. If the heart is open, you feel a lot. So at the moment, if you ask me what to look for in order to have like success, what is successful? It is that you're spending the most times walking through this lifetime with an open heart. The more open the heart, the more successful your journey. The more closed your heart, well, then it's also in success, but then it's the success of the devil. Because he succeeded to close the heart. To find the proper balance, how much to remain with what you think you have built up. So how much of not losing yourself, but also how much of giving of yourself in order to benefit more than yourself. So on the one side, if you give everything about you, then apparently you lose yourself. If you don't want to lose yourself, that means you always pay attention that you don't give anything out too much. To find this balance, how to not lose yourself, but at the same time benefiting more than just yourself. This is a very, very difficult balance, or a very difficult question, I have to say. Number one is to first of all ask some pretty essential questions about this lifetime, first of all. It can be the question, where do we come from, where do we go, what is the sense of life? Ask this question. And based on that, when you then come up with the conclusion, okay, don't waste my lifetime, then how are you going to make it? So break it down, but that everything that you are doing on a daily basis is still in the big perspective of the answer that you gave to yourself, what is the sense of life? So whatever you are doing, does it still fit into that wider perspective when you ask yourself the question, what is the sense of life? What's the purpose of life? What is my mission? What am I supposed to do? Where am I going to go? Yeah? Every single action, even drinking this tea right now, does it still fit into your bigger, wide perspective? So
let's start it very, very simple. So forget about all the names that we know. The only thing right now is you are sitting over there, I am sitting over here, you have your body, I have my body. You had a past, I had a past. You're gonna walk into the future, I'm gonna walk into the future. Nevertheless, the future in regards to our bodies is limited. We have an expected lifetime of this body. So the bottom line is your lifetime is limited, my lifetime is limited. As far as I am concerned, I want to try, as long as I still have the capability to do something with this body right now on this earth, I want to try and do the best from it. I don't want to waste time. I don't want to waste the energies, meaning where I spend my thoughts in, on what I spend my physical energy in. I don't want to do something without purpose, unpurposeful. Now, in order that I can really start and decide for myself, what do I really want to do in this lifetime? And how should I invest my energies accordingly? First of all, I need to have something that I called in the TEDx talk clarity. That helps very, very much. That you are looking at your life, you see very clearly, where am I standing? Where do I want to go? And exactly based on this analysis, so you know where you're standing and you have a goal where you want to go. Now you can make up your plans. But if you are starting right from the beginning with wrong assumptions about where am I standing right now actually in this lifetime, meaning you think you're standing somewhere, but you're not. You're living in an illusion about where you are standing. Your starting point already is wrong. So that means if you look at yourself with an illusion, it doesn't matter which goal you are putting to yourself right now, because it's going to become very, very difficult to really understand and see the path where you now need to move. Because the next steps, they might be just wrong, because your starting point already is wrong. This is why I talk about these words like clarity. Know who you are. Know where you are standing. Observe first, because to rush into things full of emotions, there are different ways of expressing it, but at the end, it's the main idea. The mind must be clear. You yourself should be free from any emotional ups and downs, no turbulence inside of you. You should not be in a very, very happy state or exuberant state. At the same time, you should not be in a sad state or depressive state while you are making the observation. Because observation, observing yourself only means you just look at yourself. You don't judge yourself. You look at yourself and you say, okay, in the last few days, I felt quite weak. Well, weak is not good and weak is not bad. At the moment, it's just the observation. I felt quite weak. In the last few days, I didn't have a lot of physical activity. In the last few days, I realized that yes, a lot of my thoughts, they were in regards to problems that I'm going to face in the future. So first you're observing. And until now, there's no judgment at all. It's just about you see how it is. We're not imagining anything. You just see how it is. You say to yourself, this is the way how it is at the moment. And now you open the mind and you look into the future. You look into your future. How do you want to create your future? Let's take the close future, just a few months from now on. On the one side now, you have the vision about yourself. And on the other side, you have the standing point where you really are. And now it's up to you that you are skillful enough in order to step by step build your strategy from where you are until where you want to go. But important, step by step, and also based on the skills that you really have. You cannot make use of skills that you don't possess. And then it's very simple. When you now say, okay, I know where I want to go, I know where I'm standing, and I even start to see what would be necessary to have in order to climb those steps. Now it's up to you to invest your energies and get those skills. Now I was talking in a quite big perspective in regards to life. But if you break this complete idea down, then it is like, I'm a weak person in the beginning. I want to become a skillful fighter. I want to be able to defend myself. I want to become skillful in the martial arts. It's exactly the same. You see where you're standing, you have a vision of where you want to go, and in between is the path. In between is the action. In between is the effort that you need to now start to invest to move up that ladder. And this is why the martial arts is such a good instrument. Because in the martial arts, it's all about skills. It doesn't matter how much you talk. At the end, it's about skill. Yeah, you need to show, you need to express. There are ways to express the skill level that you have. And in this world right now, when we talk about skill, the nice part about this is there's only one way how you get skill. And what we relate to Kung Fu or Kung Fu, actually it means skill, attaining a skill through effort. You need to invest effort in order to attain a skill. It doesn't matter how rich you are. You cannot buy Kung Fu. You cannot buy this type of skill. The only way is you invest effort to attain a skill. And that is the way. And if you want to have them, there is only one way. You stay determined, you stay committed, you learn to be disciplined, you lock your mind on your goal, either if you're in the mood to do the training or not in the mood to do training. You put yourself a goal and now you're gonna go. Along this way of developing that skill, you also discover what are the ingredients about myself that actually make it easy for me to start attaining a skill. And now suddenly you are entering into different aspects. For example, when we talk about Shaolin culture, Shaolin ethics, the Shaolin precepts, the Shaolin way of thinking, the Shaolin virtues. You need to have patience. You need to have endurance. You need to practice yourself in perseverance, discipline, loyalty, faith, trust. So there are so many different aspects that now suddenly start to make sense. The overall development through which a person now is going, it's helpful in so many different aspects that the normal human in the 21st century right now is exposed to. And it has nothing to do with the martial arts. But what you can learn from the martial art training, this can become so beneficial on a daily basis. This is what we would like to continue sharing with the world. It's not about the martial arts. It's about the development through which you as a human are going through if you want to become skillful. And what are you going to do with all the skills that you possess? You do the best of the lifetime that you have remaining in this cycle. That's what you do. That's it. Yeah. There is no religion needed for this. This is not about philosophy. The clear goal is I don't want to waste my lifetime right now. That's it. This is what I want. And now I need to find a way how to make this real. I think in order to make it real, you need to make it intelligently. You need to start attaining some skills that help you. You need to learn to stay calm. And then you start to create. That's it. That's the vision.
Become very, very sensitive. What type of physical changes are going on inside of you? What type of emotional changes are you dealing with on a daily basis? How is your mindset? How is the way of your thinking? What type of thoughts rising up in the morning, carrying out throughout the day? With what type of thoughts are you going to bed? What type of things are you dreaming? If you are numb, if you are sleeping, you are simply unaware of all of these things that are happening within a 24-hour, within a 7-day week, and within the 30 days month, and then within the whole year, and then within 100 years, one lifetime. Only if we know where a problem is located, only then we can adjust it. Theory is theory. Knowledge is knowledge. The theory doesn't change your life. The knowledge doesn't change your life. At the end of the day, it is action, action, action. That's it. Because if this life would be about knowledge, just stay at home, Google knows more. There is no human being who has that type of knowledge like Google has. But that's not it. You are receiving information. You are understanding the information. But the very important part, what you carry inside of you, knowledge, understanding, how does this translate into the 24-hour day so that everything that you know in theory starts to manifest also in real life? The universe only cares about the truth. The question is, but what do you refer as being the truth? Well, one of these truths for me is being given the gift of living this lifetime right now on earth inside a human body and live it miserably, live it sad, live it angry, live it in jealousy, live it in internal destruction. Sorry, it just doesn't make sense. I don't think the point of living this life is suffering more than necessary. What to do with the suffering? Well, you need to face it. You need to look it in the eye. Whatever is so fearful to you, whatever seems so impossible for you to do, whatever is like really challenging you, that is the one made as a challenge for you in this lifetime to face it. Some people have the ability to face it. Some people do not have the ability to face it. Why? Two very important things are missing. Number one, the ability to let go is one very, very big part. The skill, the willingness to let go, the fact of letting go is number one. And number two, to have courage to face the fear, to face the truth, to face the darkness. To go into the dark, because this is what it's about. To discover the purpose of life, to discover the intensity and the greatness of life, there is no alternative than being able to face the darkness and being able to jump into the unknown. But this is nothing that we humans are trained of. This is nothing that we humans are programmed to do in order to jump into the unknown. Because everything that we have grown up in the whole world is not about prepare yourself for the uncertainty. It is build up your illusion of security. This is where the worlds are colliding. Courage and the ability to let go. And these two elements, if you don't have them, courage and the ability to let go, because the growth of mental skills and the growth of physical skills is because you are continuously confronted with the comfort zone and are being forced to leave it, to move beyond the comfort zone. Something hurts, but it's okay. Let's go through it. Pain is not going to stop us. It's just an indication this is where, at this moment in time, our limit is. And because we understand this on the physical level, it starts to transcend and translate into the mental way of thinking. If the suffering is there, I'm not going to run away from it. I'm not going to ignore it. I'm going to find a way to overcome the suffering. And this is the very, very important distinction, what I think this life is about. To overcome the suffering, not to ignore the suffering, not to run away from the suffering, not to create your dream world in order to not face the suffering. No, the suffering is there, the enemy is there, face it. If you're not strong enough to face it at this moment, invest your lifetime to make yourself strong enough to one day be able to face it. In my world, if you don't face it, it will always be part of your existence. Make yourself strong. Prepare yourself in this lifetime for the end. Prepare for the end in the now. That's what it is. We are preparing for the end in the now. The end of what? The end of that anyway you're going to lose your identity if you want or not. You don't need to worry about losing your ego, getting rid of the illusion of your I during this lifetime. If you manage to do, it's good for you. If you don't manage to do, it's going to happen anyway. But it's going to happen without your acknowledgement. Very rapidly, from one day to another, it's going to happen. And this is again the truth of the human being. What is the most difficult things for us humans to face if the status quo is changing too quickly? If we humans can prepare, everything's easy to take. If you have time to prepare for something, it's always more easy. If something comes too abrupt, too quick, it's difficult to take it. And this is why it makes sense. Prepare for the end. I think it's very, very obvious when you are suffering. You cannot sleep, you cannot focus, you don't have a smile on your face doesn't look healthy, your energy that you are expressing feels constricted. There is no openness, there is no lightness, there is some heaviness. There are many different signs how this suffering starts to express itself. It's a personal perspective everyone has to take, but it also goes hand in hand with your ability of can you see yourself? And there's only one way in order to see yourself. Let go of yourself and then you can see yourself. Without judgment, just see yourself. Look yourself in the mirror. This is a nice practice. Next time you're drunk or anything like this, stand in front of the mirror, look at you for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. You can also do it without alcohol and then look deep inside. Not only inside, also look at your skin, look at the scars in the face, look at the scars on the body. There is something about the expression, everything about you. There's a story behind it. Nothing on your body is there by coincidence. Looking at yourself and reading the history about yourself is something many people cannot do. And in Buddhist teaching, there's a nice saying. There are 3 things that can never be hidden: the sun, the moon, the truth. Whatever you have done in this lifetime, consciously or unconsciously, it's better to know of what has been done. Then you know who you are and you know what to adjust in order for you to move on into the future. If there are still too many things of the past inside of you that you don't even know about, what have you done? Things that are unresolved, is difficult to move on. The only way to move on is to unknot all the connections that you have established in the past. Unknotting all the karmic relations that you have established, consciously or unconsciously. It's not an easy thing to do. But very often it is thoughts that also make us suffer. It is something that you have here inside. There's no reason right now for you to be in this room and suffer. But it's absolutely possible that you're sitting there and inside your mind you're still thinking about, let's say, the fight that you had yesterday with your partner. The conflicts, the arguments that yesterday you had, and then he said that, and I said that, and then whatever. Well, that means then it's possible that you're suffering, but you're suffering because of thinking. You're suffering because of something immaterial. And then I tell you, just let go. Just forget about what happened yesterday. Come back to the presence. The presence is right now here in the room. If you are able to do this, suffering gone. But it's not easy to do it, which is why it needs to be practiced. To let go of the thoughts. The only thing until today that remains true for me, if I have to tell you something, the last thing about the teaching, with our thoughts we create the world. This is the ultimate. That is the ultimate truth. With your thoughts, you are creating the world. There is something about the mind, beyond all physical activities, beyond all the attractiveness, whatever it is. The objective in this lifetime is get an understanding. What is this thinking mind, awareness, consciousness? What is it? I think this is the key. Looking into the past, everything that has been a challenge, well, it has been a challenge, but it's not the hardest. The point is, the challenges are not getting easier. The more skillful you become, the more light you want to become, the more you're striving for liberation, the more you are being tested in order to let go. Easy things, simple things, basic things, no problem to let this go. Ultimately, the hardest that maybe a human being can think of, in a way, is to let go of whatever you have created.